I want to talk about empathy. What exactly is empathy? One dictionary definition says that empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. That's very accurate as I see it, as I've experienced empathy and sought to provide it for other people. Empathy is an essential quality that we need to have as leaders. It's an instrumental part of our emotional intelligence, our ability to connect with people and truly show people that we care about them. And when we consider all of the difficulty that people have had this last year, empathy rises above many of the other qualities that we need as leaders. People need to know that we understand and that we share the feelings that they're experiencing. So one way to look at this is to look at what is it that gets in the way of us being able to understand and share the feelings. So what becomes that wall that blocks us from actually living out and demonstrating and showing that empathy? Let me give you just a few ideas. One way that we can keep empathy from coming forth from our lives is to do too much talking and not enough listening. When we are talking, we are not showing and demonstrating empathy, generally speaking. Another barrier that gets in the way is a lack of suffering. When I look at my life, my empathy, after I'd gone through trauma, difficulty, loss, adversity in my life, my empathy muscle became so much more strengthened. After I went through my motorcycle accident and my long recovery, I had this incredible understanding and connection with people that suffered in a similar way to how I did. So if we lack suffering, sometimes that can keep us at a bit of a distance from showing and having that empathy. Unresolved hurt can get in the way. That famous saying, hurt people hurt people. Sometimes instead of us showing empathy, if it's unresolved, the hurt in our own lives, it can trigger the kind of reaction that isn't actually helpful and doesn't promote empathy. A lack of self-awareness is another big one that becomes a wall between us and someone that's hurting that needs empathy, where we are not aware how we're actually coming across. So the lack of awareness as to how we are being perceived by other people can hinder empathy. And another one is cliches, those phrases that we use. We say to people, it'll be all right, when we have no idea if it's going to be all right. Or you'll get over that, or Romans 8:28 says, those cliches kill empathy. Trust me, I know that from experience. Well, let's talk proactively. What exactly can we do? How can we demonstrate and show empathy? What are some things that we can do to be more empathetic? I want to share this illustration here that I heard it this week. The difference between sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is you have a drowning person. Sympathy is where the person stands on the shore and speaks to that person words of comfort and encouragement. That's sympathy. Empathy is getting in the water with the life raft and going and being with that person who is drowning and helping them come to safety and to live. So what are some of the ways that we can demonstrate empathy? One of the powerful ways is to be fully present with people. And that's truly what empathy is. Now, I know it's difficult when there's restrictions on being unable to actually be with people in their presence, but I think there are ways that we can demonstrate that presence with them, even virtually. Meeting practical needs. Being someone that practices the 80-20 rule when it comes to talking and listening. Listening 80% of the time, talking 20% of the time. Keeping open lines of communication with the person that's hurting so that they know that you're one that they can talk to. Being that person that's willing to let them tell the negative story. Now, I'll admit sometimes I don't want to hear the negative story, but if I sense that a person needs to tell a story, a difficult story, I'll let them tell that story because I know at that moment empathy is what's required, and that's what is required of me. Don't hold back your tears. That's another way to actually feel and show that you are feeling what other people are feeling. And I find myself when I interact with someone that has had a serious loss, I find myself starting to well up with tears, and I've learned to be okay with that. That's empathy showing itself, demonstrating itself, and I think that connects with other people. I think it's completely acceptable to offer help, but just don't force your help on other people. Make yourself available and find ways to help in practical ways, but just don't be too pushy. Keep track of people that you know are suffering, that are hurting, that are in a lonely place or in a transition. Keep in touch with them. Send them a text. Send them an email. Reach out to them. Don't wait for them to reach out to you. Empathy takes initiative. Empathy is proactive. And for those of you that have been through difficulty and challenging times, you know what it means to have somebody, what seems like out of the blue, reach out to you with a call, with a text, with an email, stopping by with a bucket of food, whatever it is. So this is my challenge to you. As you think about the people in your life that are like that drowning man or woman, that needs you not to speak to them from the shore, words of comfort, but needs you to jump into the water with that life raft and rescue them and be with them and not just perceive or speak words of comfort, but literally have that ability to understand and share in the feelings of others. I have experienced empathy from others. I've been able to give empathy to others. And what a tremendous gift it is to be able to receive empathy as well as to give it. Have a great day. And if you want to leave a comment and tell your empathy story, I'd love to hear that.